Good afternoon. That was very interesting. I just wanted to add something with the mandate. There's a gentleman out of Australia who I actually cite in my presentation. His name is Bilal Sukar, who's one of the eminent authorities on BIM, and he's BIM performance assessment and improvement, and we were sort of tweeting back and forth the other day. And we sort of came up with the analogy with respect to the mandate and the standards. And he said, is BIM the ship and we are its crew? So, ship, not the other one. And, you know, there were back and forth tweets in response to that. And I responded, well, what if BIM is the ocean? And the ocean is this entity that connects all the masses. And inside that ocean, there are countless organisms that live within that. And that's probably all the protocols and standards and whatever else we want to add to that list, processes. And the ship is our infrastructure. Infrastructure is companies or organizations, and our hardware, software. And the crew is us. The crew is us. And to coin, you know, we've got the ocean, we've got the ships, and to coin a phrase out of Godfather 3, our ships must all sail in the same direction. And I thought that was kind of a good analogy, but I didn't really hear back from him. But that's, you know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe there isn't specific mandates and handcuffing you to perform to them. Maybe it's just an ocean and we navigate the ocean and we all get to the same direction. Perhaps that's the way to do it. Anyway, I digress. Let's move forward. I'm here to speak to you about our certification program, and at the end of our certification program, we will be handing out, announcing and handing out some of our most recent certifications. So the aim of CanBIM certification, which in October or September will be at a nice young age of 2 years, was basically to create and maintain a national certification body to which we could benchmark individuals, companies, organizations, academic institutions, training providers to a nationally standardized and recognized level of BIM competency and process management. In this case, BIM competency is defined there, and the management process is also defined. So we sort of saw that there was nothing really out there. The word Wild West came up earlier. That's sort of what it was like, and we thought, well, industry is saying we need something to solidify it, something that tells us where we can be, where we are as individuals, and how we could begin to recognize this across the country. So that was the main aim of the program. The objectives were, of course, to recognize and establish some type of industry BIM standards, competency levels to ensure a productive and healthy and sustainable ecosystem for BIM in Canada, maintain and provide a national database of individuals, hopefully companies and institutions as well, a benchmark as a point of reference for higher education, and as I mentioned earlier, Building Smart and CanBIM education committees are coming together to address that, and pursue constructive dialogue and mutual recognition with similar institutions or accreditation bodies in other countries, which there is some movement on. We have been contacted by a number in the past, and actually very recently as well with some other international bodies. So we're working on that, hopefully for September, October, to have some sort of an announcement. So we broke it down essentially into 3 phases. Our first phase, which we implemented in September of 2014, was that for individuals. And here's the ocean. Here's the ocean with all the fish in it floating around. Objectives, processes, tools, workflows, protocols. It's just a lot of stuff. A lot of claims, a lot of I can do this, I can do that. But how do we actually determine that they can do what they say they can do? Can they walk the walk? So we sort of, citing again Bilal, these are his documents that I'm citing here, there was a solidifying or a distilling of 3 principal elements that were to be considered in competencies. Skill, of course, is something easy to measure. Can someone use a software? Can someone juggle? Can someone do the 100-meter sprint in 10 seconds? Skill is easy to measure. Knowledge, of course, is something a little bit more difficult to measure. Construction knowledge, processes, workflows, dynamics, standards, protocols, these are something that is not as quantifiable or as easily quantifiable as the skill is. Then, of course, something a little bit easier to measure is repetition or experience. So we identified through the research we did that obviously these were the three components that were extremely important to review and consider in any certification. We took another diagram from Dr. Bilal, the individual competency index, which it states here, these 5 levels measure the depth of conceptual understanding and the extent of practical experience needed to perform a well-defined activity. So this really focuses on those 2 components, right? The practical and the conceptual. And you can see how you start off with a knowledge and skill level of 0 and eventually make your way up to what this diagram defines as expert level. So we looked at this and we said, well, how can we utilize this and sort of adapt it to our national framework? And we sort of overlaid those 4 sections with our own labels, per se, and I'll describe those labels further down the presentation. CanBIM, BP1, BP2, BP3, and CP. And they correspond to level 1, level 2, level 3, and then fully certified professional. And having done that, we melted away the background. We left sort of the critical components and our new components overlaid on top of it, and we began to insert what we thought was critical at those 4 stages. So the first was fairly similar, or actually quite similar to the original document, introductory level of knowledge, conceptual knowledge, and then for skill, an introductory level of applied knowledge, but no practical experience at this point. So it's a very basic level. You just know the fundamentals. And as we work further up into level 2, we begin to start applying a little bit more of the conceptual, but now there is an integration of the applied knowledge as well, the skill of application. Moving forward, more advanced application of both levels. Then we reach a defining element that really puts you over the top to the certified professional level, which is repetition. And I'll define what this means as we move into the next slide. Once you've completed those certain levels, then you've become, or you've reached the full certified professional level. Those 4 levels, breaking them down and identifying what they involve. As you can see, the buttons are there, the 4 levels are there. What this chart indicates competencies, topics, and assessment targets. Level 1 is really just a basic fundamental knowledge of what BIM is. How did it come to be? What is it? What are the fundamentals of it? You're not necessarily a user. You're not necessarily a technician, a BIM technician. You're not even necessarily on the computer. You just might be a principal, anybody who just wants to know what it's all about so they're not completely in the dark when they need to address it on a corporate level. An introduction or understanding is pretty well the topics, and the assessment targets are just command of the knowledge that forms the foundation. Level 2 is somebody who has reached the competency of execution of skills and applied skills, and applying let's say, BIM-related software. Very generically, it could be any number. Data integration, coordination of the topics, and really the assessment targets are command of the tools, software, and working methods within the process. Level 3, now we move into more administrative and comprehensive knowledge of the actual management component, the command of the plan, the protocols within the entire process. Now keep in mind these targets, we've summed them up. If anybody's interested, we do have other documents that expand upon these targets in specific point form. Level 4 is the full implementation, analysis, and synthesis. The individual who provides facilitation and has a command of the work processes, core skills, and common to all fields. So those are the summary points or the summary levels of each one of those 4 levels. How do you move up? How do you begin and how do you move up in this pyramid? Level 1 very straightforward. It could be something as simple as a CanBIM approved introductory course or courses in BIM foundations. There's a number of institutions that are offering those courses. Some of them are through private trainers. Some of them are, we actually have a consideration for that which is acquired through experience. You don't necessarily have to do a course. The application allows you to document your experience, and the assessors determine whether your experience indicates you have that foundational knowledge. Move up to level 2. Level 1 is a prerequisite, and now you are applying a software. So it's the level 1 certification, an approved BIM-related course, approved CanBIM course in BIM-related software. Again, there's a number of institutions we've certified. The new ones that come in do get assessed by myself, they get summarized by myself and assessed by the assessment panel as to whether or not they meet our targets in point form. Or for those that, again, because we're trying to not, a lot of these requirements are for those that are going through the educational process now, but for those that have been in the industry a while and perhaps have not done the formal technical training, 2,000 hours or 1 year of relevant experience utilizing a BIM-related software. Level 3 tends to be the one that is least applied for and the lengthiest here, but we do see it as a very critical point in the move forward. Level 2 certification is required. Now we begin to get into specific disciplines within building and/or infrastructure disciplines. Degree-related documentation requires 3 years or 6,000 hours of applied experience. So not only the educational component, but now we're getting into an accumulated practical experience. Diploma is 5 years within the related discipline, plus a BIM management course or courses. Or, again, keeping into consideration that there might not be courses that have been taken by experienced individuals, and there are very few courses out there right now in BIM management, strictly BIM management, but it's something we're looking at to establish, again, with Building Smart. The relevant experience in applying and managing BIM as related to business management, project management, design and/or construction/fabrication management in a designated discipline. So you've been in the management capacity for some time, you've undertaken those hours as well, and you can document it accordingly to the satisfaction of the assessors. And we're looking for an administrative role in the completion of one building or infrastructure project utilizing multidiscipline BIM. So again, there's a huge experience component, applied experience component. Again, industry said it's one thing to have the academics, it's another thing to actually have applied it and have it under your belt. And someone who has a knowledge of this can tell us that, yes, you seem to have demonstrated sufficient documentation to have achieved that level. Level 4 is the repetition that continues. Level 3 is required as a prerequisite. Now we get into management administrative role in the completion of 3 projects utilizing integrated multidiscipline BIM. So it's just an accumulation of that skill. And at the same time, an accumulation, of course, of knowledge, or at that point, perhaps we can call it wisdom. Process is fairly straightforward. Application is made. It gets vetted to ensure compliancy with the requirements. You could apply to a level and then intend to certify yourself and maintain that level, which you will see to the left of the screen. You will undertake your professional development over a period of 2 years to maintain the certification, and you become recertified if you've done that. Or you may choose to advance to the next level up, at which time you would just continually keep meeting the requirements of each subsequent level, and you reapply for just that level, and our assessors reconsider you for the step up in certification. Professional development is, of course, very critical in this type of industry. It's evolving. It's an industry that's consistently under construction. So we've constantly got to be updating ourselves. CPD is important. CPD is required for the maintenance of your certification. 10 hours over a 2-year period for level 1, 15 level 2, 15 level 3, and 20 for CP. We've just finalized our CPD documents. They will be on the website shortly. So we've taken a little bit longer than we thought to ensure that it was as efficient and capturing as many aspects of CPD as possible. So to date, I'm happy to say that as of today, we have 133 certified individuals in less than 2 years. We have 24 at level 1, 73 at 2, 21 at level 3, and 15 at level 4, or CP. We're hoping very strongly that by the time we reach our AGM in Toronto in a few months, we'll have reached 150 people. We've found it to be, it's been very, very successful in our opinion. I think there's been a need out there. A lot of industry professionals are telling us that it's helped them if they were to receive 2 applications with similar resumes. They would tend to stay with someone that has been certified simply for the fact that our certification process is done by industry, by the users, by the people in the trenches, by the people that know what's required hands-on, by the individuals that they're looking for, that they're employing, that they're utilizing. So we see a lot of value in that, a lot of validity in that, and it's proved to be extremely successful so far. Feedback has been incredible, and our self-imposed review of 2-year reevaluation is going to start right after this session, and we'll have some additional refinements in place for our AGM in Toronto, just so we can carry through very constructively and keep growing with this. Phase 2 is educational. This started more or less around, well, just over a year ago, in a very informal manner, and it's becoming more and more formal. And in fact, as I keep repeating, the MOU with the Building Smart will just, I think, accelerate this. To this day, there are 3 institutions that are certified for their courses, or their courses are certified, sorry, not the institutions, their courses are certified. Cégep Limoilou and Cégep de Vieux-Montréal in Quebec, French language courses that are certified. And George Brown College in Toronto has a BIM program, but I believe at this point only 1 or 2 of their courses are certified, and their BIM program is under review at the moment. In progress, Algonquin College in Ottawa and Okanagan College in BC, which we are helping or assisting in developing a very basic level 1 course. And pending, your very own NSCC, Kirby, Vancouver Community College, York University, and just as of last week, I believe, Jerry, Saskatchewan Polytechnic jumped on board as well. So we are in the process of reviewing their courses as well. I trust, even by this time next year, I think there'll be significant changes in this. I think it'll be a lot larger number of institutions and a lot more in-depth curriculum assistance in developing curriculum when we get there. We also certify training programs by private companies. A lot of companies have their own in-house courses. To this day, Bird Construction has had one of their courses certified, and another is under review. AGC of America, which is what the Cégep used in Quebec and had it translated into French, so consequentially this is certified as well. In progress, Global E-Training and Ellis Don. And pending is Turner Fleischer, who you will see from our certification has been very, very aggressively pursuing maximum implementation and transition into Revit in their firm. Finally, our wish would also be to eventually look at companies and organizations, launch to be determined at this point, and it would be again back into the ocean for another swim and try to funnel this all together, all those fish flying around and all those infrastructure systems flying around, funnel them through, distill them, and try to come up with a series of certification levels that in essence mimic the individual, but are obviously significantly more complex and in-depth, just because if it's a company or organization, there are so many layers to consider. But it would work primarily on this pretense of pre-BIM, modeling, collaboration, and then integration. Now, first of all, are there any questions? Great, okay. We can move forward to what I find always to be a very interesting component of the evening, our actual certification ceremony. We have a number of names that will just pop up on the screen, but I believe we only have 5 individuals here this evening, and they'll be coming up to receive their certificates. So Alan Partridge, Ian Trudeau, Magdalena from Pomerleau are going to receive the individuals. Alan, of course, we all know. The way the process works here is your certificates come in, they get vetted, summarized, and eventually passed on to an assessment panel. Our assessment panel is composed of minimum of 5 individuals that are all at a CP level. And those requirements are in place for all assessors. Assessors must be CP certified, and they review different applications. And for the level 1 and level 2, a majority of the assessors need to recommend the individual for certification in order for that individual to become certified. For level 3 and CP, it must be a majority vote, I won't call it a vote, but a majority recommendation of the entire group of assessors that have those applications. So if one assessor isn't quite there, it does not mean that they are certified because of the majority. It has to be a unanimous recommendation. This time around, Paul Loretto, Alan Partridge, Ian Trudeau were our board members, so there's always 3 board members that sit on it at the CP level, and then we bring in general membership CP individuals as well. Ivanka Yordanova from Pomerleau, Brent Mowdy from IBI, and Magdalena Ordienek from Pomerleau as well, who is here. So Magdalena is here to invite them or to greet them into the family of certification, and Alan and Ian are just here to look pretty, as you can see. So our level 1, we have, I believe, 6 individuals, and I don't believe, are there any level 1s? Yes, Victor Cadore. Did I say that correctly? Congratulations. From Bird Construction? Oh, geez, sorry. Dumac. It's getting all blurry now. I need a drink. Justin McDonald from Bird Construction. Sorry about that, Victor. Level 2 is a heavily populated level, and you can see here that it's actually broken down into 2 slides. Oh, I did? Who did I forget? Is Kate here? Oh, Kate? Jerry? We'll jump right back to you, Kate. Sorry about that. I wasn't aware. Our level 2 is our heavily populated layer, as I said. There's quite a few individuals. As I said earlier, Turner Fleischer has really pursued this heavily on a corporate level, so they've really pushed they haven't mandated, but they've strongly encouraged their staff to pursue certification. And I believe here today we have got Angela Murray. Angela? There you are. Thank you. Congratulations, Angela. And from Turner Fleischer as well, Robert Nielsen. So we'll backtrack now, and we will call up and congratulate Kate for her level 1 certification. Kate Hemmings. Further list of level 2s. I believe there's nobody here from this group, unless I'm mistaken again. No? Okay, good. Level 3, 4 individuals this time around, of which nobody is here, I believe. And our last for the day is our sole or lonely CP this time around, Mr. Bruce McCallum from Dialogue. Alan is questioning this one, Bruce. We're not going to get to that, Dave. Congratulations, Bruce. On that note, I bring to close the actual certification ceremony. Any inquiries, please catch me this evening. The website has tons of information on it, but we'd be glad and happy to address any questions you may have this evening at the networking. Thank you very much.